Shtanudachi's motivations going into this, or at least you know, our hopes and dreams as him as the last European representative. But Surrender himself has said how big it would be to represent Korea and take home a Hearthstone World Championship, and it's easy to forget that he came into this with a teammate as well, who I'm sure is now pinning his hopes and dreams and the hopes and dreams of Planet Odd to put them in fantastic standings going into the 2018 team standings for the Hearthstone competitive season. It'll be an incredible achievement for Planet Odd to have 2 players at the World Championship and then for one of them to take the whole thing home.
Yeah, they should really look at picking up a third.
They should, yeah. The roster would be rounded out by just one more player of this level.
So enough of that done. We'll feel that one afterwards. But looking at the opening hands here, Shtanudachi has all the ramp you could ever want, at least in a 3-card opening hand as Druid. Surrender has the Raven again, South Sea Captain not too bad, and a double Power of the Wild. Does have access to these buffs early on. You just go.
I mean, if you coin out double Raven here and then just start buffing them, you can deal upwards of 12 to 18 damage before Shtanudachi interacts if he wants to ramp twice in the meantime. That's a serious beating.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
See if he goes for it though. These early turns are never easy, and it gets compounded by just the more options you have for Surrender. But I do struggle. Like Raven in the deck as a 2/2 is because it's a relatively strong, like beefy one mana minion, right? If you're putting them in your deck, you do not just want to throw as many out as possible. The answer from Surrender is no.
Yeah, I mean, it's a damage over time calculation, because by holding the coin, you can also get Captain plus Patches out quicker, and then slam the buffs onto those as well. And, you know, it's how these sequences line up against different threats. You know, if Shtanudachi would just had a Wrath on turn 2, then suddenly your turn 1 is neutralized. Jasper Spellstone, same kind of thing. Getting that additional threat down would allow you to push damage through that kind of thing. If he doesn't, then this sequence allows you to land the buff on more minions and push through more damage more quickly. Shtano does pick up that all-important Wrath, though, that may have just saved his life.
Look at the following turns. Raven, Power of the Wild, Savage Roar, lol. At the end of the day there, that would have been absolutely insane. But there's another buff for Surrender.
I think we're going to see a Panther. Yeah, I think we're going to see a Panther here.
Go for it. They go pretty wide. You just, as Surrender, you just saw a Wrath. How many removal tools that even do anything versus this board are going to be left? It's the turn before Spreading Plague can even be played as well. So it means that Surrender can set up an insanely strong board with the second Power of the Wild, the Mark of the Lotus, and potential card X that gets drawn.
Yeah.
This could just almost just laugh at Living Plague at this point.
Living Plague?
Living Plague, Spreading Plague, Living Mana, same thing. They make minions go wide across the board, and you'd often lose when they're
I think you've balanced Spreading Plague. It should just eat all your mana, and you're not able to play afterwards. Yeah, sold. All right, let's do that.
Road, I know you're listening. Hire me. It would be funny.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, like Spreading Plague just not a factor. The fact that you can just buff these into 4/4s and 4 attacks and 5 attack minions, it's just not a huge threat at this point with the way you're developing this board moving forward.
And Druid of the Swarm, the pickup, and there is an option now, and again, just more consideration. I'm sort of Surrender's just whipping through in his mind, is that he can go Druid of the Swarm into Poison, which further negates any potential taunt of big minions, and then just buff it with Power of the Wild, and then next turn you can think of the Mark of the Lotus Savage Roar to maybe end the game.
You can push 10 this turn with 1 buff, push 13 with 2 buffs, not using the Savage Roar, which puts him down to 14 or 11 respectively, and you'd be sitting with 10 more powers out on board, so you'd be threatening lethal even with 1 buff here.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think the poison's actually amazing. Right. Because, for example, Malfurion can be a problem here.
True.
You beat them to turn 10 anyway, and if they're not playing yet, you've got to imagine they're not going to play again. They go for the taunt though, just to defend these minions instead. God, I'm good. Caster skills. Malfurion's still not going to be much of a speed bump, even with double taunt here, as we said. The Mark of the Lotus, Savage Roar, laughing. And he taunts Stanken, put in the way. Saul sat next to me doing the mathematics to work out exactly how this will interact. The countdown time is over. It gives us a summary.
Yeah, it's not enough. You do get nice trades into it with Mark of the Lotus and Savage Roar. It allows you to trade with the existing 2/6 into one of the 1/5s, but you're not pushing through enough damage to get through the armor gain as well that comes with the Malfurion. So it stabilizes. Well, it doesn't stabilize. It's a defensive.
You don't die
now, but your 1/5s just get devoured. That's the big problem.
And then what are the draws? I mean, also on 9 mana, you can't even branch it past double draw into Spreading Plague.
Right.
It's not there. The mana doesn't exist.
It's a big whiff, though. There aren't many scenarios where you draw Corridor Creeper and it's just completely miserable.
I do like the Savage Roar here, though.
Savage Roar seems unnecessary. To me, anyway. Like, on the surface of it, like, you can achieve a very similar effect just with Mark of the Lotus, and then you still have that enormous board sticking around. It's not going anywhere against Druid, right? Like, some matchups, you just cash in your Savage Roar when you can, because they might Dragonfire Potion you, or Spell Power Defile you, or Twisting Nether you. Against Druid, that board's sticking around. You can cash out Savage Roar as late as you want. Surrender agrees with you, though.
One of the best players in the world. He agrees with me.
Yep.
Make me one of the best players in the world. It's getting a lot of front-loaded damage, and also, let's be honest, we're arguing over minor points at this moment, and we've talked a lot about minor points making the biggest difference, but this feels like almost insurmountable odds for Shtanudachi this game.
I really feel like that Savage Roar could be converted into more damage later. I think he's perhaps net less damage with his Savage Roar than he could have over the course of the game, and now this hyper-defensive play of just stick a taunt in the way and gain a bunch of life threatens to wall surrender out of this game.
This trade will allow a hero power into the Panther, and the Corridor Creeper is playable. And even if Ultimate Infestation comes down, that is stacking up to a lot of armor. There is still just one 5/5. This friend has like one more turn of almost freedom before things start getting a little bit funky with all the cards that Ultimate Infestation.
So he is down to 11. He will go back up to 16 with the UI, and there is 16 power remaining on board with the 2/4/4s, the 5/1, and the 3/5.
Oh yeah.
UI is not a play.
See, Surrender knew all along. Exactly.
I would not put it past him to actually like just map out that entire 2-turn sequence. I mean, probably not exactly double branching pass for armor plus open summons, but something into Ultimate Infestation calculated he had lethal against it, and that's why he cashed out his